Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I'll also publish on Rumble, Patreon, and anything else I usually go about on Twitter X, which I've been a little bit more active here and there, doing some replies and some commentary there. So you can give a follow there also. Later today, we'll have a Death Stranding episode. And then we will proceed with the series Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays as usual until we wrap up this series. Other than that, we got everything that I do here on playlists, including the completed gameplay series. So let's go to the news, and we might be seeing some huge layoffs on the Intel side of things. Probably round about 30% of its workforce. Again, it's a consequences of what Pat Gelsinger, I think it was its name, the previous CEO, kind of the risky maneuvers and the lack of strategy, specifically on the AI market. I think one of the reasons that guy was booed out, gave up the job position was basically the fact that at this moment Intel, in terms of AI, the AI things there, in terms of the oh my god, AI accelerators. Again, there is nothing there from Intel. Everything at this moment belongs to between Nvidia and the AMD. Given that AMD seems to be planning some good stuff there. I didn't bring because I want more confirmation, and I didn't check any. Any articles regarding yesterday's. I saw Murloy's that video regarding the upcoming RDNA 5 kind of a thing there. There's a lot of insider information with some tables supposedly from AMD itself. He usually gets things, if you listen the entirety of the videos, he usually tends to be pretty correct, and he usually tries to be as accurate as possible with support documentation regarding stuff. And it seems to be that RDNA 5 or UDNA 1, again, we don't have any official information, but we only be able to get more stuff throughout the remaining of the year. But it seems that at least on the DI market, specifically RDNA 5 and probably Zen 6, only 2026 by the end of that year, or maybe beginnings of 2027, we'll be seeing products coming out or be announced or something like that. But yeah, continue here with Intel. It seems that they're going to do some major cuts in terms of personnel. Again, on this recent second quarter earnings, they revealed that it plans to have a head count of around about 75,000 employees, which basically it's a reduction of around about 30% of its workforce from a year ago. So again, this 30% and these numbers throwing around, they are not specific. It's taking in account from numbers that they want to achieve in terms of employees, and it takes that margin of cutting from the numbers that they had from around a year ago. So it might be more or less depending of if more people were hired or not, or in the meantime they already had some firings or not. But yeah, it's not looking good, and they are focusing a little bit more on trying to be sustainable in terms of as a company, which is again, it's good because they basically are at this moment in time, since this new CEO, I'm sorry, 10, let's call him 10 because it's his last name. um, the company has been operating to a certain degree at a loss in terms of operating costs. It's been on a loss there, and he wants to basically at least start cutting the expenses that they're not part of his own strategy, in a sense that it's trying to cater at this moment for where the customers are at this moment, and then try to rebuild the company back up, try to study what kind of strategies and tactics they can use to maybe start entering a little bit more probably on the GPU side of things on the market. There is some demanding there on competition, and also maybe seeing what kind of solutions in terms of AI accelerators and corporate hardware they can make to satisfy a need that there is there on that market. And with that said, they are basically at this moment cutting down some of the regions that they are basically probably going to get out of there is Germany, Poland, and Costa Rica. Again, Germany, given all this, I think it has some. It's a consequence of the overall situation as it is, from the sanctions in Russia, the cutting of the lack of uh, manufacturing, the power that Germany had, that it's losing a lot. I've seen some news here and there that in terms of manufacturing, Germany is lost a lot of that power that he had, mainly due to the fact that they don't have access to cheap energy, especially coming from Russia. And again, the increase of the power that they need to have, electricity, oil, gas, and all that jazz. Again, it's being having a huge impact on Germany, given that it's the economic engine from Europe. And I think they are seeing the signals that again, Germany doesn't seem to be in a good shape to continue to be investing there. And again, Poland, it's kind of in the same thing there. Costa Rica, again, it's kind of a smaller country. I don't know what they were trying to do there. Maybe trying to affect the LATAM countries. I probably think they will, with this thing, probably maybe Brazil, which is kind of the big engine, economic engine. It's the biggest country of the South Latin America, um, in terms of what they can produce. I assume they want to enter more in the tech thing there, assuming that. But yeah, I'm again, I'm going off a little bit of a tangent there. But yeah, it seems that they want to basically flatten from merging roles, creating newer divisions, again, that they can cater to the consumer demand. And again, the priority here is to achieve financial efficiency. Hence, Intel won't pursue any project that doesn't show convincing financial prospects, which is why Intel Foundry and its chip roadmap will take a massive hit. Again, no more. No more like adventures without any kind of planning. We got that blunder, for example, a few years back on the Arizona plant, and the fact that even from a lot of the chips there were defective, especially because of an AC issue or something like that. Even though there seems to be a strategy of trying to restructure, put the company in a more agile position of trying to cater to what the consumer demand is at this moment in time, and start strategizing and implement tactics that can benefit the company of not going under. Basically, that's it. Given that this American company is the only one at this moment in time that can manufacture their own chips, so I think they're going to try and focus their foundry more in their internal products, and at least reduce the cost in terms of production, because if Intel is dependent on third parties like TSMC or other companies to manufacture their own chips, again, it starts getting a little bit more difficult for them to be competitive, because again, when you start depending, for example, on TSMC, you're dependent on I don't know, a slot that it's not been given at this moment in time for Nvidia or AMD. And I think it can be an advantage in the long term for them to manufacture their own hardware chips. And I think it can, the Intel can be a company that in the near future, I don't know, I give it around about 5 years as an overall a company strategy of being more competitive with other companies, in this case Nvidia and AMD, especially on the AI accelerator stuff there, and on the DIY consumer market also. Hopefully they can, in this strategy, include, for example, chips and software solutions, for example, for auto manufacturing stuff there, because we've been seeing a huge amount of growth in terms of automobile chip consumers for the, I don't know, for the radios, for the software in the cars, and then we'll need high-end chips there to put on the cars there to go about and deal with all the software and all that jazz. Hopefully they can also include that. This is for them to diversify as much as they can their line of products and solutions for every market possible. Again, without taking huge jumps, plunges in the middle of nowhere. Again, I think this guy is taking the hard decisions on really pulling back a little bit the aggressive expansion that Intel was going with Pat Gelsinger. Um, I'm not sure about the GPU side of things. I probably they will try use more at this moment in time the technology of the GPU, so the XZ cores to be implemented on the APU side there, and then probably after they fine tune that, um, probably we'll see a scale up on the DIY market on the discrete GPUs. Hopefully they can manage in the meantime to find a solution for the remaining of the Battle Mage and probably the upcoming Celestial range there, if there is something to be done there. But yeah, it seems to be in the flimsy state, sorry, regarding that. But hopefully they can arrange something there. Again, it's again a lot of resources were put there to for the discrete GPU side of things there from inside the company. But hopefully they can leverage that with their own foundries to manufacture themselves everything. Hopefully, I think it seems to be the most intelligent way to go about because you already have some foundries. Try to fine tune that for your own internal products and start from there. I'm assuming that's basically one of the strategies there, and cut everything that you are dependent on third parties probably is the best way, because when you start getting, as I mentioned, dependent on third parties, you're to a certain extent in terms of economic interest, you're dependent on the price that other people give you to have access to whatever they need to do. And if they can first party, let's say everything they can manufacture and launch as a product, I think it will be a little bit better. And they have to put their things together also on the DR market in terms of the CPU side of things and the APUs, and hopefully in the near future the GPU side of things there. With the competition here, TSMC's 2 nanometer production, they are expecting to break records again. They are still going with the expecting the AI bubble to continue here, mainly because the this 2 nanometer manufacture node is expected to go for first on these AI accelerators for AMD and NVIDIA, not in the next. I think the still from what I can see here, I don't know, the Instinct MIX or whatever they are called there, the MI 400s and the current Blackwell, so the next gen of AI accelerators from NVIDIA, maybe they will implement the 2 nanometer, while the current one lineup, which is the Blackwell Ultra and the MI 350 AI accelerator from AMD, will still employ it for 3 nanometers, it seems. But at this moment in time, they are planning to produce around 200,000 wafers per month on this 2 nanometer process by 2028, which still a long ways to go there. But they will enter mass production second half of this year, so maybe next month or so, with the initial production capacity of around about for 40,000 units per month. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Given that, again, I suppose that the 2 nanometer manufacturing nodes are not only going for AI accelerators and GPUs, high-end GPUs in the near future. I think, again, as I mentioned previous with Intel automotive stuff there and other high-end chips that will make the 2 nanometer, I don't know, handhelds and all that jazz. I think by 2028 again, in a year or so, this 2 nanometer will be start to be adopted in mass on high-end devices, being handhelds or whatever it is. But they even think that they anticipate that the 2 nanometer is going to be the demand there is going to be even higher than the 3 nanometer. But yeah, we still have some 3 nanometer products to be coming out. So this is again, as they mentioned, they are expect fully production of 200,000 wafers per month of by 2028. So it's going to be a scale up production there until we reach 2028, which is from 3 years from now. So we'll have to wait and see if this goes well. Hopefully, Intel can start at least trying to catch up a little bit there. So they have around until there to see if they can at least do something. Again, they are not going to be competitive on the 2 nanometers for sure. From my understanding, again, they are a little bit behind there, but at least if they can start picking up the pace, it will be something good. Again, I don't. TSMC seems to be a huge company. They are dominating the chipset, the bleeding edge chips manufacturing process there. But as always, I prefer competition because at the end of the day, companies will try to do their best to provide the best product at the lower price if there is competition on the market. And by the end of the day, it's the final consumer that will be taking advantage of that competition. But yeah, let's see how it goes regarding this 2 nanometer production. Again, I think I talked about the RDNA 5 and all that jazz. I think they are going for 3 nanometers, so there is no 2 nanometers, at least from the documentation and the rumors and the such. I think this is going to be something more by the end of 20, the next generation, maybe UDNA 2 or RDNA 6 or something like that, Zen 7, something like that might be then be using this 2 nanometer production stuff there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. It's still far in the future. Then we got stuff here regarding our little rant of the 12-volt power pin stuff there. Again, this comes from OSD, ODS. I did check his own article. Where is the hyperlink so I can see? Yeah, DSO Gaming's editor-in-chief. Sorry, it's right here, John Papadopoulos. I check his own article. I read it through so I can pick up this thing here. Again, I don't know about these people. I think there is not a lot of understanding how electricity work on these power pins there. Again, documented incident again reveals the truth. Again, it's a headline stuff there. Don't trust this thing here. Again, the fact that he just took a picture before and after. People were complaining about it. This not properly seated here. Again, this is he used the original stuff here that it came out. This is a 5090 Founders Edition. He plugged the cable adapter that came with the GPU. He did always the same thing with the other GPUs, the 5080s, 4090s, 4080s, and all that jazz. Again, I don't blame the guy. Again, it seems to be a guy that for 15 years or more is doing reviews on GPUs, and I'm assuming that he knows what he's doing there. I'm not taking that the fact that there is some user error there. Again, but this article and his own article from DSO, they don't seem to be understanding to understand exactly how this power delivery works here on the plug. Again, the melted cables are going always to be the cables, the one row of cables, which are the ones that are providing power to the GPU, because how it works is 6 cables provide the power and the other 6 are the ground pins. So they are just closing the loop. And when there is going to be melting is first when the connection first encounters the resistance, which is at this part of the 6 pins when it connects to the GPU. You will only see one of these days probably, or in some cases I think there are these power connectors cables. It's basically because this one's already completely melted down, and the heat transfer of this thing of being melted, it will transfer the heat for this ones. Doesn't have to do anything with that other than that. Funny enough, the power connector melted, but the GPU continues to function properly. And again, this is not user error. I've been hammering this since, I don't know, since the 4090s came out with this PCI connector, sorry, 12-volt power pin connector. One thing that people tend to forget also is the fact that the 3090 Ti was the first GPU launched by NVIDIA that came out with this 12-volt power pin, and they never had any kind of situation with melted connectors and I think it's only because of one thing. The 3090 Ti had a module inside the GPU that basically balanced the power that was receiving for each cable, and that prevents that of having melted connected powers, because again the subsequential, so the 40 series and the 50 series don't have that chip for balancing the power in them. And I think it's basically the main reason that we've been seeing this. Again, they try to save some money and still sell this 2 to 3 thousand GPUs there. And again, it's not a thing of making good connection. Also, again, you can do everything from the user perspective correctly, have a good connection, everything is seated properly, and you will still have this situation. Because what it happens here, and we've been seeing a lot of videos from electricians and people that do the investigation from Gamers Nexus and other people. Again, it's a balancing imbalance that is being sent through these six cables. We're seeing here, for example, even the Bauer did an investigation regarding this of the amperage, which is the strength of the power that is being delivered. The cables themselves can only handle a certain amount of amperage. I don't know by heart how much it is, but supposedly, if not mistaken, each cable is supposed to deliver up to 8 or 9 amperes per cable. To make it, I don't know, 8 to 16, 42, I think it's around 40 something amperes that the connection can handle or supposed to be delivered to the GPU, and until 600 watts power there. Um, and the fact that some cables, we don't know exactly why this happens still. I'm not exactly sure, but there is an unbalancing on the amperage in each wire, and some cables start delivering like 12, 13, some of them I think almost uh, 20 amperes per wire. And again, that will always going to introduce overheating on the connection. And I think that's the main thing. There is no, I think the best way to come about is a similar solution that they had with the 3090 Ti, which is a module inside the on the PCB of the GPU that will balance the power that it's requesting for each of the cables, because the PSU cannot do that. The PSU just delivers the power that it's needed for the overall connection, which is this six cables through these 6 pins. It just delivers the total power that the GPU is demanding. The GPU needs to balance that power for each cable, so it can balance the amperage, and again, it goes to contribute to overall current of the needs for the GPU itself. I think it's the best way to go about it, and I think also at least this is a remedy that can be done immediately. But I think the overall design of the physical connector is very flawed. Also, I don't think it was made to take into account this kind of demanding. In paper, it seems that it was made to take into account the 600 watt powers and amperage needed, but again, lack of high tolerance for spikes in current delivery and power delivery are not taken into account the same way that the PCI 6 and 8 pins are. Supposedly, I think the 8-pin PCI Express, which is the ones that use on older GPUs and AMD GPUs, they have a more tolerance, a bigger tolerance. I think they can handle like double what they are be able to do, so it can endure a little bit more of spike delivery stuff there. But yeah, this 12-volt power pin doesn't have those tolerances in mind, because again, I think one of the main reasons is the fact that the physical connection, the physical pins and the physical cables cannot handle that higher of a tolerance as other PCI connectors do. But yeah, again, it's kind of in the proper contact here. Again, it will not solve the situation. Again, this is one of the other reasons that it's not going to do, because again, You will have eventually, it's something that is bound to happen. You can have the best PSU of all time, you can have the best connector of all time for the GPU. It will eventually happen if you don't have something that it's balancing the power delivery to the GPU inside of the GPU itself there. Because the GPU is demanding, when it enters like 100% utilization, it will start demanding certain amount of power, and it cannot correct or balance the power that is needing to them, and it will eventually burn connectors because they are the first big point of resistance on the overall electric connection there. And I think it's something that people tend to forget. And again, it will start by only melting this lower row, and it will start to melting the first ones that are delivering the most amperage, because they are trying to overcome the resistance of the connection there, so they deliver more power to satisfy the needs for the GPU itself. As you can see, I think these are the ones. These first two seems the ones that demanded a little bit more amperage there delivery, and it screw up the connector. Um, but yeah, basically that's my rant for the 12-volt power pin as usual. In terms of other news, it seems that Ubisoft canceled Star Wars Outlaws sequel recently. This comes from Tom Anderson in Insider Gaming. He usually goes about having some good insider information from Ubisoft, it seems. But yeah, we saw that also from the recent quarter earnings from Mr. Yves Guillemot. He blamed Star Wars Outlaw missing its sales targets on the Star Wars IP itself, saying that the Star Wars brand was in choppy waters at the time of Outlaw's launch. Again, always deflecting, always blaming everybody else except themselves of delivering a shitty product. Nobody wanted, not it's not everybody didn't want. People were not demanding the way they delivered a Star Wars games. I think the concept itself, which is trying to be a kind of a hand solo approach kind of a game there, it could serve the market. It's the way they executed that. They just, let's say, gender swap there. Even the character model was bland. I think the character itself was bland also. Again, they try to be as generic as possible to try and satisfy a bigger, I don't know, a bigger community. To in terms of, they didn't. Again, it's one of those things. They didn't focus on having a good character with some flaws and some aspects that you can relate or not. And they just created a bland character, and it kind of goes in follows the things of, to a certain extent, I think, with the girl boss kind of a theme that we've been seeing a lot in protagonists in games. And it's something that it didn't fit well on the character like Han Solo. Might as well do an outrider kind of similar to Han Solo, but with some differentiating aspects to it. I'm not sure if they could have used even an already existing character that might not be Han Solo itself per se, but an already existing character that is kind of a scoundrel a person there. Again, and if you're going for the scoundrel path, might as well you put a scoundrel character, not somebody that deflects all the bad things to other people. You have to own a little bit there the fact that you are a little bit of a scoundrel character, and I think that's why it missed the point there. And again, it's not to, and of course, if Guillemot said it's not their fault, it's the fact that the IP was in choppy waters because of the movies. Again, people were expecting that this game, they wanted this game to be good because they wanted something that kind of saved the Star Wars IP. At least that's the perception that I got when the game was announced. People were really wanting this game to be very, very, very good. And again, unfortunately, we got another disappointment from the games that we have been seeing recently there. But yeah, Yves Guillemot, and at his best, just deflecting blame to other entities or persons. Then we got here Wuchang Fall of Feathers. The review seems to be pretty good. Usually it's around 7.5 and 8. But again, it seems to have a huge problem at this moment in time with performance issues and optimizations on the PC part of things. On consoles, it seems to have, especially on the PlayStation 5, there are some moments that it seems, even with performance mode, it seems to have some issues with details and textures and something like that. And at this moment in time, I got the chim chart here again, overwhelmingly negative or negative reviews. And again, I did a quick glance. It's the main fact is it's the PC performance. It doesn't seem to be pretty good. Even though it had like 131,000 players peak, which is pretty good. Even though again the performance is not in a good place here, but they did similarly after they did this statement, a brief statement yesterday regarding optimization and some pricing errors and pre-order reward errors. They did launch a patch 1.3 where they go and try to address some of these issues at this more urgently, but they still did say that they are working for the upcoming days to come out with a more comprehensive patch to address even more stability improvements, optimizations for the game. But it seemed to, again, it seems that it's the lower end of the hardware on this Unreal Engine 5 game, which has to do with 8 gigabytes or less of VRAM. Again, I think that is one of the things that people were complaining. The fact that it's not very well optimized texture streaming, it seems. But yeah, at this moment, you got a 1.3 patch there, and I think next week we'll have another one more comprehensive, try to address even more issues that people are experiencing. But we'll have to wait and see about that. Again, this game seems to be kind of a Dark Souls, doing things mechanically pretty good. Again, it's not a AAA game per se, it's a smaller game in scope, try to be focused in certain things. But people are enjoying the gameplay, and the story is not something out of Hollywood movie, but it's something that it can keep you playing to and discover more things on the lore side of the world, and to enjoy a little bit, and it's serviceable, the story, it seems. But yeah, hopefully they can address this as fast as they can, so the customers can get satisfied from what they purchased there. But yeah, at this moment, 75,000. Okay, this seems okay-ish. Let's see how this develops, and I'm waiting to see how this will go. And then last we got numbers from Elden Ring. Again, we don't have players, we have copies sold at this moment. It's an official announcement from Elden Ring, from software. And we got Elden Ring Nightreign sold 5 million copies, and Shadow of the Erdtree, so the DLC for Elden Ring, reached 10 million copies. Again, 15 million copies sold, which is a good, excellent number. Again, I addressed some of the rumors that at this moment they are working on the third project besides Nightreign and the support of that game, and also Duskbloods, which is for the Nintendo Switch 2. It seems they are working on a third big game, it seems. Again, let's see how this goes. Hopefully we'll get some news, or at least some hints by the end of this year on new things that From Software is cooking up there. But I'm going to wrap up here with some gaming deals. We still have Plague Tale Requiem, 65% off on Requiem. Then we got Plague Tale Innocence as a deal also, and you can buy both of them on a bundle. We still have Aliens Dark Descent, 60% off. Again, I'm not a huge fan of RTS games, but this one seems to be pretty good. We got Atomic Heart still on sale, 70% on all the editions here. We got Blueprints recent release, around about a day or so, 15% off. Very positive feedback. It's kind of one of those that seems to be very interesting on a puzzle exploration, mystery, and investigation. I think this kind of have some roguelike elements, if not mistaken. It's basically try to discover the room 46. You have to use puzzles and blueprints to reach there. Very interesting. Then we got Midnight Suns. It's on sale now. 85% off on the base game and 80% off on the digital plus edition, which okay, the plus I'm not sure. The legendary edition seems the one that has all the alternative characters. I'm not sure. Well, I know this. The bad, the good, bad, the undead is Deadpool. Redemption is the Venom. This is from the Morpheus or whatever it's called, and this is from Storm. Not sure, but I'm never sure about the edition. What this Digital Plus edition is. Other than that, I did enjoy. I do recommend this game, even the base game. I did manage to claim it for free on Epic Game Store. I did a series with this one. If you like XCOM 2 with the twist on being a deck builder, it can be a little bit addictive if you like the game loop there. You can check out the first couple of episodes to have a sense what this game is about. But I did really enjoy the hook of the gameplay, and the story is very serviceable. It got some interesting things happening there. Yeah, I do recommend at this price point. Then you got No Man's Sky still on sale around about a day or so, 60% off. Then you got Pacific Drive, 50% off on the base game. And yeah, it's one of those that I really want to try out and see how it goes. But yeah, I'll wrap up here for today with a plug of my Patreon as usual for extra support. That extra support is more in line for me to be able to get a better storage solution so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Now I'll see you in the next one. Till then, Kunamy Master out.